Hi, this video is for my 45-hour review. This is the spring quarter 2018 for Savannah College of Art and Design. The works created are by artist Stephen Taylor. My artist statement reads as such. When I look back at my life, I realize that an abusive father, malicious children, and bullying teachers took my youth from me. They shaped me into an angry and frustrated individual, one who does not trust people. However, my determination not to let others experience this is what has propelled me to be the strong father, the teacher, and the mentor that I am. To combat these negative tendencies and a lifestyle that comes natural to me, I create. Drawing and painting places me in a world of my own and further reminds me that there is beauty in the world. My work is fantastical, it's whimsical, fun, while at times chaotic, harsh, perhaps even violent. I focus on the subject matter of creation and the emotions that drive it. I have always been fascinated with the creation and development of children and animals, perhaps because of the loss that I experienced as a child and the joy that I always found playing with or observing animals. I always thought that the emotions of a child are as wild and as untamed as an animal. So the two always seem to work. The simple, stagnant form of a beast or a child, or the crazy, whimsical nature of either, are the same. As for the application of the work, I've always enjoyed working with my hands. As such, I explore my subject through works of paint, charcoal, using hands to smudge, scrape, fade, or diffuse the images, while at the same time using tools like brushes, pens, pencils, and for the most part erasers with the charcoal to refine the lines. It is this process of using my hands and the mark making that is distinct to the work, which separates the black and white specifically from photography, which is a medium that has inspired many of these works that I've created. So I'm going to go over a couple of the works right now and discuss individually some of the unique features of them. The space that the work is in is currently a space that I'll be using for my thesis exhibition. Over here I have some of the charcoal works. The animals that I've talked about are here, and then there's one other one of the charcoal that, or the graphite actually, that's a part of this process which I will go into. One of the unique things about the work are these white areas. When I first start the charcoals, I cover it in powder, using my hands, just kind of scrubbing and rubbing that powder and grinding it into the board. Leaving the white areas alone. It's really important that I do that because that's going to give me the whitest area possible. I don't use white charcoal unless I absolutely have to because sometimes it can gray, okay? So with this particular piece here, I started by wiping all this charcoal in, powder dust with a hard, soft, medium ground charcoal. I also use stick or pencil. Use a lot of eraser with the work, whether it's kneaded eraser or whether it's pencil erasers, even electric erasers to dig in at times. I don't want to erase too much though, otherwise it compromises the board itself. Okay, this is a 40 by 30 piece on illustration board. I call it the morning yawn. It's kind of hard to tell if he's yawning or if he's screaming at you. That's one of the things I like about it. It's a little bit ambiguous. The second piece that I really enjoy doing is this guy right here. Okay, he's 8" by I think 30, and this again, using the charcoal to scrub it all into the paper, leaving the white areas there, trying to get that pristine white. The passages around the eyes and the nose area were ones I really enjoyed with this particular piece. It was really fun to do. I got lost in that. I can do this for hours. This stuff is really, really fun. In creating my work, I can get really attached to it. I can also become detached. And this quarter, I actually experienced that detached for the first time. None so more than this piece right here. It's called Walk the Dog. I was under a lot of stress from Scad, from my current school and the business that I run. It just kind of all seemed to blend together and there was no way out of the work. It was just constantly going. And so this piece kind of depicts that frustration and that stress. I look at it basically in terms of, as we as adults get to see, I'm free to do whatever I want, but I'm not really free to do anything that I want. And so the work itself kind of shows that horror and that stress of being free, but at the same time being jerked around by somebody. And the figure up here is kind of faceless, and it depicts that image of somebody that, basically anybody, that is kind of pulling your chain and jerking you, whether it be kids, whether it be your boss, whether it be your students, the parents of those students, always having to wonder why you're giving grades that you're giving. And you know, as a teacher, it seems to come up quite a bit. So this piece really kind of was upsetting to me. I wanted to get away from it. That's why I went into the animals, got a little bit more fun. So I get into these kind of things, and I love, like this guy here, this white contrast. It's more of like a Ruth Bernhardt style work, where I'm working with the charcoal and just kind of grinding it in again and allowing that white of the paper to really kind of show up and get that really strong white contrast. You can see kind of the mark makings as the camera shows a little bit closer image there with that particular piece. So I mentioned in my artist statement that my work is both fun and whimsical, dealing with animals and children. In these two paintings right here, you're going to see some of that fun and that whimsy attitude. These are two of my daughters. I have three. And this one was in my 15-hour review, and I enjoyed it so much that I wanted to go back in and rework some of these areas. They gave me some great feedback with this work, and so I wanted to go ahead and do that. And it was this piece that started me on the whole body of work, having that fun and whimsy kind of approach to things. And so this is my oldest daughter, Lila. I really wanted to dig in and get to understand flesh tones a little bit better with her. And so I went back into that and refocused on the arms and the eyes. And then the painting next to her, which is my second daughter, Lael, who's a little bit more serious of the three daughters. She is got a wolf hat on, which is basically her way of keeping her innocence and her youth. And one of the things I like about this is that Lael, out of the three of them, is really stern. And so that kind of that face shows that, yet the fun bubbles and everything around her kind of allow her to be a child. These two individual pieces here are probably my favorites. I show them together. They're called Inner Strength. This is where I think if I do the portraits for my thesis that I would more or less go. Except I want to do these on a really large scale. We're talking maybe 15 feet by 3, all charcoal on paper, maybe Reeves paper even. So these are really exciting for me, and I like them. One of the more exciting works also that I've been doing is The Teacher. And the reason that one's exciting is kind of hilarious, actually. It's my first self-portrait. It's the first time I've ever really done anything of me. And one of the reasons I wanted to do it was, for some reason, I've got kids during Halloween, they will come dressed as Mr. Taylor. Don't know why. I don't find myself that interesting of a guy yet. Kids do. So I wanted to do kind of a painting of a guy that you would think really wouldn't be a school teacher, but in fact is actually a really good school teacher, and a lot of kids show up specifically for his class. And so I decided to do one of myself and just have some fun with that. I'm still trying to learn flesh tones, and so that's still kind of growing in that. And the final piece that I did for this is my youngest daughter, Leah, with that fun, whimsy little bubble kind of action going on. Yet she has that stern face, which is my daughter, along with that bicycle helmet that she always was wearing when we first got it for her as a dinosaur. So this is the body of work that I have. The 10 pieces are also in the PowerPoint that I provided to you. I think the work is going in the right direction. I'm very excited to get started with this and keep that charcoal process going and growing it. Thank you so much.